Hi, everyone. We are back with another episode of Tales from the Tavern. Hope you are all having a lovely weekend. I know Vertrox Nightblood is having a lovely weekend because he has been GMing Weave Racers charity stream over on Staghorn's channel, and they have just broken the $2,000 mark, which is super exciting. If they're still playing by the time we're finished tonight, I've already promised them that we would go drop by and say hello, so that's super cool. I'm really excited about tonight's guests. We have the cast of the Dragon Punch Squad podcast, almost the whole cast. Not everybody's here, but we're pretty close. I ran out of camera space, so we had to kick someone off. That's how it goes sometimes. But I would love to have everybody go around and introduce themselves, tell us a little about who you are and anything that you would like to share. We're going to start with Kelly, and we'll work our way around. So, Kelly, tell us about yourself.
Oh, great. Starting with me.
Yep.
I play Kezra on the Dragon Punch Squad podcast. I am the star of the show and the leader. But yeah, I, like the rest of the guys in the group, we are all from Maryland, Eastern Shore to be exact, across from Annapolis. Been playing. Started with D&D 3.5 and moved on to Pathfinder, courtesy of Jake, who got me into both of them. And now I've been playing for like 9 years, I guess. And yeah, completely addicted.
Nice.
Yeah, and I just had a birthday 2 days ago.
Well, happy belated birthday. And thank you for choosing to celebrate it with us.
Yeah.
Great to have you. I did not realize that you guys were within 8 hours of me, so that's cool.
Oh.
I am in New Hampshire,
nice.
so.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Jake, tell us a little about you.
So I'm Jake. I'm the GM and CEO of the Dragon Punch Squad podcast. Years and years ago, I got all of these guys into D&D 3.5, and then this magical new system, Pathfinder, came out. So we all transferred over to Pathfinder First Edition, and we've been playing every system since. So. I had my first start in tabletop role-playing games when I was the wee age of 10, when my dear old dad said, "Come play D&D." And I said, "Can I be an orc barbarian?" And he said, "Yes."
That's it. That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. And it has been history ever since. So.
Awesome. That's great. Well, thank you for coming on tonight. Mark, tell us a little about you.
I'm Mark. I play Elkwood Grimm on the podcast. Funny enough is I didn't get into Pathfinder until I was actually working at the same place Jake was, and he was like, "Hey, you want to join a game?" I was like, "Sure, I've never played before. Let's do it." And Pathfinder First Edition, so I got to learn the crunchiness of it. But yeah, so after that, I just went and started going crazy with finding all different other systems. Been playing 5e as well with him, DMing, so.
Awesome.
Yeah, and as I said, like all the others, live on the Eastern Shore, and just have fun to hang out.
Sounds great. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining tonight. John, tell us about you.
Hi, I'm John. I'm the voice of Sir Benson Black on the DPS podcast. I've played as long as Jake introduced me to the game, along with everyone else. The running joke in our circle is that I'm a real-life druid who refuses to play a druid in a Pathfinder game. I'm a plant healthcare specialist, so yeah, been loving it ever since Jake got me into it.
Good job, Jake.
Thanks.
He's our RPG daddy.
Our longtime listener, first-time caller, Timmy, welcome.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. I'm a little nervous, but I am Timmy. I am Adlar Vaynor, cleric of the Dragon Punch Squad podcast. I keep everyone alive, barely. It's what I do best. And yeah, some of you listeners, viewers may know, I run the Twitter for the Dragon Punch Squad. So at Dragon Punch Pod, if you see a meme, if you see a TTRPG question, there's a good chance that I was probably me who came up with it. And my tale is similar to many others in that Jake was the one who got me into tabletop role-playing games. I just remember the other day, Jake, when you encouraged me to DM my first game, and it was in D&D 3.5, and I ran a little scenario, and it was 10 minutes long because everyone rolled so well, and I didn't prepare very well.
Yep.
And I just think back to that so fondly, and how far we've come. So
I know,
happy
yeah.
to be here.
Over a decade, if you remember now. It's been over a decade
That's right.
since
That's
we
right.
started.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you all for coming on. I'm really excited to have you guys. So let me tell you all in chat a little about how the stream works if this is your first time tuning in. Basically, we take all of our questions from chat. So if you have any questions that you would like us to answer, feel free to just drop them in chat. I've got moderators that will make sure that we see them, and we'll go through them in the order in which they're sent in. Unless you feel like redeeming 1,000 channel points and using the Ask My Question next, so you can have your question bumped up to the next one in the queue. So that is an option if you've got some channel points stored away and you would like to use some of them up. That's a great way to do it. My cat was here earlier reminding us that there is also a redemption for cat treats. So there you go. All right, let's see. We're going to dive right in with some of the questions. So I'm going to start off with a little icebreaker question. So since you guys all record your podcast while you're sitting at the table, I'm assuming, do you use regular, like, physical dice?
Yes.
Do your dice have to match?
Ooh,
No.
That's a good question.
Ooh.
that's a good question.
No.
Okay, all right. So mine's interesting. So I had one set that I use pretty much all the time. However, I've added to it. So I have a die that I got from the bottom of a candle that Kelly's wife bought me a while ago. So I have a D6 in there from that. I also have a D20 when I was a guest on another podcast. So while it started off as one set, it's just got like a bunch of other ones that were added in for sentimental value. So.
I have like my one primary set of dice that I like originally bought that I love, and they're like the most reliable dice I've had. And anytime I try to switch, it's terrible. I end up jailing the D20s and going back. So for the pod, I definitely use that. I have a set of dice that I use for GMing my Rise of the Rune Lords campaign, and that seems to work out well. But yeah, pretty much. I do have to have my matching set of dice, and then I just add on if I'm big levels and I'm rolling like 66 for a roll. It's just kind of add-ons. So I have a Crown Royal bag, like probably many people do.
Classic Crown Royal, yeah.
There's a meme I see floating around now and then that's like, Crown Royal sells a dice bag with a free bottle of whiskey.
It's true, yeah.
You definitely should.
I mean, it's just change up the marketing a little bit. And
I've been using the same couple sets of dice for a while now because Kelly actually bought me a very nice set of dice and a dice bag for Christmas one year, and that was my go-to for a long time. But then I started collecting. Everybody's got a dice goblin in them, so I need to go back to that original set. I think that'll make my game even better.
Yeah, so kind of like Kelly, like he has like a set for GMing. I actually have two sets for GMing. One set I have killed a player with, so I feel like I don't roll that D20 all the time. And maybe I will tell you the tale of that fateful day. And the other set's kind of like my general purpose rolling. And then as a player, I have a set of like gemstone dice that my wife got me, and they're very beautiful. And there are also these other couple D20s that I used from Dice-A-Why. Dice-A-Why, we've done giveaways with them in the past. They're incredible. Go check out their dice. They actually just had a Kickstarter called Just Dice Zerts, and it's all like dessert-themed dice. It's so cute.
that's cool.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to plug 5 minutes in, but here we are.
No, they deserve all the attention.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, we all have
Dice-A-Why
custom
dice.
D20s from Dice-A-Why. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that my dice need to match. They need to match. They're all kept separate from each other in their own containers. Yeah. And the one dice bag that I have that will hold more than one set is the kind that has little pockets in it. So each set has its own pocket.
That's cool.
Oh, I gotcha.
Expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's cool.
that's-
Like, it's one of those dice bags. You can actually open it up so it lays flat, so you can use it like as a rolling mat.
Oh, that's cool.
If you wanted to, but it's even cooler because the outside of it is a map of Middle Earth.
Oh, man.
Coolest thing I've ever heard.
Dude.
Yeah.
You're organized. You're not like an animal like me who just shoves them all in one bag and hopes.
Right,
I can
right.
I can't, I can't do that. Oh, that would make me crazy.
My actual best dice that I have, actually Jed gave it to me. My like highest quality, most expensive dice is a D20. It's a green glass cannon podcast dice, and it is easily my most cursed dice. It spends all its time in jail. It's a Joe O'Brien green,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't play with it. It's awful. I don't know if like there is like a factory defect, but I love Jed, and it was a great birthday gift. But I can't use that dice.
It was cursed. That's exactly it. It's funny as Kelly could probably attest to sees my dice across the table that I just have a mishmash pile that I sift through. Like at
His
one
dice
point in
pile is
time,
chaos.
yeah. At one point in time, I did have a set of dice, and then when they started going cold, I was like, you know what, throwing this one away, getting another one out, and so my matching set of 7 is just no longer matching. So it was funny because I got a bunch of them from a place. I think it was at Otakon actually one year, and this one place, blanking on the name. I have their cup somewhere, but they had a giant like mini kiddie swimming pool of dice, and you could like do a scoop of $20. It was like $20 or $15 for like a cup from there, and you just scoop in whatever you get.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I've been using like a lot of their dice.
I know at like the cons that I've been to, PAX East mostly, Chessex has something like that too, but not like a kiddie pool. That that to me is like the equivalent of a ball pit, and you would not get me out of there.
I think I showed a video too. Like at one point I recorded the video of me like picking up all the dice and just dropping it while recording, and it was just such a satisfying sound.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah.
Advertisement for that would be is if you advertise that you threw like 5 like super expensive gemstone D20s in there. Like, maybe you'll get one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That would be a heck of an incentive.
Well, damn, John, we
Dice,
just figured out
15
our
bucks
business plan.
You know what I'd want? I would want, you know, the like air tubes that they put money in, and then you have to like catch the money in a certain amount of time, like while it's blowing around in the air.
Oh,
You need to
yeah,
find
yeah.
a way to do that with dice.
Without
Without
getting
killing
black
someone,
eyes.
yeah.
I mean, just wear some goggles.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the hail tube.
It might really hurt, but I mean, you just have to. That's the risk you have to take.
You put
for
on,
dice.
I
Be
know,
nothing but
goggles,
D4s
a
that's gonna
helmet,
keep
and
you
like
tied.
one of those big inflatable sumo wrestler suits.
Ooh.
We might be
Yeah,
onto
yeah.
something now.
We could theme it. Yeah. We could theme it, and then you just wear like a suit of armor.
Yeah.
Oh man, then you'd just be deaf from all the like ping, 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 ping.
Right.
I was about to say the sumo suit's a good idea, but when a D4 hits that thing, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny. Now, those of you that DM, do you have different dice for when you DM?
Oh yes.
No.
Yeah, I don't use my Kezra dice when I DM now. I have player dice and non-player dice.
Yeah, I'm one of those players who's a degenerate and never DMs and only plays. So
One day we'll
We're
get
gonna
it.
change that. We're
Yeah.
gonna change that, John. Your first DMing experience is probably gonna be a stream, so look out.
Yeah.
No pressure.
And we're gonna make it awful for you.
Oh my gosh.
One day. Yeah, I haven't either, so I'll get there one day.
That's wild. All right. Well, we've had a few questions come in from chat, so we're gonna dive in. Let's see. The first 3 that we have all come from the same person. So, Gum Malau, the first question he has is, what is something you're proud of yourself for accomplishing this month?
I think podcast-wise, we have started doing weekly meetings, like weekly Zoom calls, and that's actually been really fun.
Yep.
Gets ourselves a little more organized. 3 of us have kids and young kids, so we're dealing with schedules, and we're also so that helps us kind of plan out the next month or 2, 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not like scrambling last minute. And then also it's helping us kind of organize our thoughts on future projects. And I've been really, really proud of that. Tim's been our awesome scribe and moderator on our calls to kind of keep them good and concise. And I think it's been a huge change for us to help us just in general operate a little more efficiently.
Mm.
I think for me, we just finished up our playthrough of Sticky Business, which is our playthrough of the Adventure Path to Slithering.
Mm-hmm.
And it went way too long because we didn't have a schedule like we do now. And so it went on like so long, but like we got like so invested in it, and it was such a satisfying ending to the adventure path. It was, it's one book, it's like 3 chapters, not that long, but we put so much work into it, and we had such a fantastic ending. And I feel like, although it's bittersweet because now we don't get to, play that kind of adventure anymore with those characters, it's so satisfying to be able to have something like go to completion like that. So actually finishing an AP is not something we do often. So
Yeah.
That's true.
I'll piggyback off of that because this particular stream, a lot of story stuff came out, and a monologue I wrote for my character. How long have we been doing Sticky Business, Jake?
A few years, I think.
Yeah, a few years. Yeah, I want to say it was like the middle of 2021, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So literally, we did one session, and then with this character I created, I was figuring out his personality. Second episode, I wrote his final monologue, and I finally got to do it. And, wasn't perfect, but it was so satisfying to get to do.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I think kind of jumping back with what Kelly was saying about like our weekly meetings and stuff, just like getting more organized in general. I actually started using a tweet scheduler called Buffer, and I didn't realize just how much it kind of helps me just stop from doom scrolling. So I think I'm proud of myself that I don't doom scroll as much, and I'm able to post. I'm able to interact with people in the TTRPG community, but I'm not just like because man, that Twitter will take you to dark places if you let it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I just speaking of Twitter, I very carefully curate who I follow now because I'm like, I just can't I can't let myself get to that point.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be someone who just wants to post really all the bad stuff and complain all the time, then nope, I don't have any space on my timeline for that. Let's see. All right, what's something this week that I am really proud of? I am proud of. What am I proud of? I don't know.
It's a slightly difficult question because I'm about to piggyback off the same thing, like with everybody else.
Yeah.
Just, finish that, but.
Well, I think, speaking of scheduling, I think one of the things that I'm actually proud of isn't something that's happened yet, but it's happening next weekend, and that's that I'm taking a week off.
Nice.
There we go. That's good. That's a good one, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely... It's something I think, and it's kind of funny because it came up in my Discord today, too, about, burnout is a thing. And it's really easy to do when you're, constantly creating content. So... one of the things when I was planning out for this season, I was like, I have to make sure that I schedule in a week off here and there. And this time, I was like, I'm just going to line it up with Labor Day weekend and, because scheduling people on a 3-day weekend is always really challenging anyway. So, yeah. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to add or...
I guess piggybacking off, I could actually piggyback off that. I finally, gotten to a point of, I think everyone else knows, but finally got my vacation. Finally taking a vacation for myself.
Yay!
That isn't a staycation.
Yes.
Because I've always done staycation. I'm like, I don't want to spend money. And I eventually, you know what? Let's go to Colorado.
Nice.
So finally going out of the States, because it's been a thing I want to do for a while, was like, I want to travel more and stuff, but at a certain point in time, like, as Jake knows, like back in when we were working together at one point, it was just like, I don't know, the burnout kind of gets real too. You're like, I don't want to be on vacation. Vacation just, I don't want to stress myself too much.
Yeah.
And so being able to go back out and travel again and go hiking out in the mountains would be just great. But I have that all finalized, so now it's waiting for that to happen.
A couple coworkers that came from my previous company, and that company was really bad about encouraging people to take off. But I was fortunate to like move to a different department at that company that like didn't have the same like PTO policy. So I learned to like you need to schedule time off for yourself, and you need to like rely on your teammates, and you need to like work together, and you have to take time off. So they came over to this company that I'm at now, and they were like trying to bring that like never take off mentality. I'm like, no, take off. Like schedule time now. I don't care if it's just a 3-day weekend once a month. Take time off, because I don't want that here.
Yeah.
The pro tip: find a company that not only is okay with, but encourages personal life.
Yeah, definitely. I was really lucky. I work for a nonprofit, and this summer we actually instituted half-day Fridays. So we all summer long, starting the Friday, the week after Memorial Day, through my last one will be this coming Friday. And we've only had 36-hour work weeks. It's amazing. Like, it's been really funny because I've sat in on conversations with everybody, and those don't matter, like, you know, what you do in the organization. Like, your supervisor basically all the supervisors were basically instructed, like, you have to work with your staff to figure out how to make this work for them. And it has been the one thing that every single staff person has been like, you know, what's one benefit that we have here that you know, we should keep, or you know, you like the way it is, or that sort of thing. And unanimously across the board, it's half-day Fridays.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to bring that up to my Monday meeting tomorrow. You're like, hey guy, what do you think about this idea?
Yeah, just a thought. All right, let's see. Gum had another question, and this one is, what's a source of motivation for your work?
Music.
For me, for what we do with DPS specifically, I have a lot of friends and family who listen to the podcast, and whenever they come up to me, it's like, dude, what you did that last episode was insane, or so cool, or that was written so well. Like that, I want my friends and family to think what I write is good. And when that happens, it's just, I'm on cloud 9 for me. So whenever you're writing or creating something, you always have that person in the back of your mind that you want to think it's good. For me, it's my brother, you know, Tim, Jake, Kelly, Mark, my wife. Like, I want them all to think it's cool. And when I can achieve that,
Oh yeah, I mean, like in terms of like what we do with DPS, when we have first started talking about like doing a podcast and stuff, I didn't know that there was like this entire community around like actual plays and like TTRPG like podcasts and streams and stuff like that. And then when I found out that, like, I don't know how I didn't know about it. I think just because I played in a lot of home games with like, you know, like my friends from high school and stuff. And then being like, wait, do people like just listening to like friends play around the table? And I was like, we have the funniest stuff. Like, we have amazing adventures, and it's so much fun. And so the idea that like we're entertaining people and they continue to come back to listen to us. And I see all the analytics for like everything that we do. And like to continue to see that stuff grow and to see people that like really enjoy what we're do, it feels great. It feels great to be able to like make something that people enjoy and they want to interact with us too. It's a lot of fun. I'm very much a people and like relationship like kind of person. And so to be able to just like be funny and make people laugh, and then they talk about the last episode on our Discord just to like get people talking it's an opium for me. It feels great. It feels great to just see that.
One more thing I'll add to that was the first time somebody posted fan art.
Yeah.
That shook you. You're like an artist, an incredibly talented artist, took time to make something I made up in my head. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, honestly, one of the motivations would be just because I like writing kind of like story-based things in general. And just being able to meet, like, every so often, like, and have our characters kind of just interact is, like, a big thing for me. Because it's kind of like a nice dissociative, like, point of, like, all the stuff going out in the world and all that. But it just kind of adds this thing for me that, like, jump into a story that we're all building together and, like, how our characters interact. And it's just really enjoyable for me for that point.
Yeah, I'd say for me, it's funny because like I grew up like playing pretend like a lot, and then when I hit high school, I was involved in like a singing group, and oh man, like I love singing. Like I was like trained by like a retired opera singer, and just like feeling the emotion in music. And so kind of like after like that like season of my life kind of like was coming to a close because she retired from, teaching, so she's double retired. That's kind of like when the DPS like started to like pick up for me. So for me, the motivation comes from like the need that I have to create and to make believe and to experience like deep emotion through like storytelling, because that to me was like what music was about. Is music was always telling a story. So I feel like I get like some of the same elements here, podcasting, and it's like one of the things that's like, like the world is crazy, and it is our responsibility to do what we can to help those in need, and also feed ourselves and take care of ourselves like mentally. And man, DPS has been there. So it's a lot of like self-preservation and a creative outlet that keeps me going.
Yeah. I like one of the things that I've really enjoyed. I've done some actual plays in the past, and then one shots and stuff like that. But Tales, this stream has always really sort of been my baby, and I think one of the things that I've always really loved about it is when people tell me like, oh, I when I was on your stream this time, I met this person and now we're doing this big project together, and like all of those introductions that have happened because two people happen to be on my stream at the same time, that like now this really cool thing is coming to fruition that never would have existed before. And so that for me is really, really cool. I've also, I literally had somebody, she sent me a message about a year after the first time she'd been on the stream, and she was like, I just need you to know that being on your stream literally changed my life. And she went on to tell me this whole story about how she'd always been like really shy and didn't really want to put herself out there, and then finally like got up the courage to get involved in the TTRPG community, and then she ended up meeting, and this is her phrasing, like she's like, I ended up meeting the person that I am absolutely certain is my soulmate, and like she's like, I lost like 100 pounds, and I was like, holy crap, it was just one of those things that's like, all I did was invite you on a stream, but for her, it was like this really defining moment. So it was really cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
I just like heckling Jake and causing him trouble.
I mean, that's equally valid.
That's fine too.
But yeah, I mean,
I just want to tell him you're a son of a bitch, Jake.
yep. I just like giving him shit, telling him my rule interpretation is better.
I say, stop reading the rules, Kelly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't like it when you do that.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of the same reasons you guys. That's really cool about having people on your stream, like feeling connection, and really getting out there and.
Yeah, I've seen
Get out
some
of the
really
comfort
cool
zone. That's
partnerships
really, really
happen. People who just. One of the things that's been nice about doing the stream, I was literally just explaining this to someone the other day, but I was just saying how one of the things that's nice about having like repeat guests is I sort of, by the time, once I've had them on and I sort of have a sense of like how they interact with other people, I can then sort of curate my group for any given week. So if I have a few people coming on as like a repeat guest, I'll be like, oh, this person I know will pair really well with this person, and these two people will pair really well together. And so sort of by being able to do that is where I've really seen some really cool things happen. Whether it's two people coming together to write up a whole new game system. I've seen that happen. I've seen podcasts come to light out of this. I've seen people get involved in actual play streams and that sort of thing. So it's really like, it's such a cool feeling.
When you get passionate, creative people together, some amazing things can happen.
Yeah, it's really true. All right.
And I feel like that's like even like the name, like Tales from the Tavern, like just like the idea of like adventurers like taking a break and just like shooting the shoot and just like just talking about like all the things they've like discovered and stuff, like this whole place that you've set up is just like, it's homey, it's like warm, and it's awesome. So like props to you, Luna, for all your hard work over the years, and
Thanks.
Thank you again for having us out.
Yeah,
I know it's like middle of the stream, but like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I'm glad to have you guys on. All right.
Now.
Well, right now I am, but I mean that may change in the second half. Who knows? All right. Another question that came in from Gum. How do you deal with a table that can't ever decide on what to do next?
I've never DM'd, but I've been part of many groups that I'm just sitting there going, make a decision, make a decision, make a decision. And it's endlessly frustrating. But.
I enjoy doing so what do you actually do? Yeah. And just stare at them until they provide any answer possible.
I think I have like a list in my head about the things that they may have like started to explore and then stopped and then like kind of diverted to something else. So like there was like a moment where like it was like a little bit like sandboxy in like a town, and there's like a lot of people that they had talked to like in a tavern night, and it was like there's like the next day they're kind of just like, oh, they did this and they did this, and I'm like, I'm really not sure what to do here. And I'm like, well, remember you talked to Farmer Jim Bob, and he said that he was having some problems with like some sort of bear or something, so it's just kind of like reminding them of like what they already know. Because when you think about like it from like the context of like a story and adventures, like if you were like a adventurer and you were in a tavern, you had conversations with like 5 different people, there's a good chance that you'd remember all those interactions based upon like various levels of like things that they're going through. Whereas like us, like the people playing the characters, like we have lives, like there are breaks, it could be a couple weeks in between of this sort of thing. Yeah. So it's just like having like a short little list, whether written down or mentally, about the things that they've already done and like the leads they already can pull on.
Yeah.
I think it's really helpful.
I feel like in my experience, this probably doesn't always work, but I like sometimes when the role play kind of dictates it, and what I mean is like the role play of the personalities of the characters. So if you're playing a character who has that like more like commanding or like aggressive attitude, who's like always speaking up, even if you're not the player with the most ideas, it's just like you play a rash character, and it's like, all right, well, we're gonna go with this person's decision because they're just the loudest voice in the room from a roleplay standpoint.
Oh yeah.
And that can get you in a lot of trouble. But I think like it feels realistic when like you're at the party's at an impasse, and then just someone just like, "Blah, we're gonna go into the pit head on, make a bunch of noise." Like, oh, okay, well, we didn't have any better ideas, right?
Benson.
Yeah. I am. I'm definitely thinking Benson versus Kezra here.
I know there have been times when, because I also don't really DM ever, and there have been times though when like I'll get really irritated with the group and just be like, I'm going to, like, you guys can follow me or not, but this is what I'm doing. So
Sometimes you just gotta do it.
yeah. Yeah, Bat Duck in chat just said, we're going to kill the monster. That was in a game that Bat Duck and I played together a while back, and he was like, we're going to go kill the thing, and all of us were like,
I always like to in the situations where like I'm a player and like things just like aren't moving, I will definitely play the character that's just like, I'm gonna go poke this, and it's gonna do something.
Yeah. Just poke it with a stick.
whether it's good or bad is not part of the question here.
Yeah. And it's going to do something.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. The next question that we had is actually Bat Duck used in Ask My Question Next. And so his question is, if you had or have had to or have made a villain, were they a real bad guy, or was he a bad guy but not a bad guy? Hashtag Wreck-It Ralph.
That's an interesting one. You always want to create interesting villains and villains that people, you know, in my opinion, it's a gray villain or a villain who's like bad for the good reason. Like, it's just more interesting to me from a writing standpoint. So I like the villain who does the wrong thing for the right reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I would like the always kind of, while I love like the hamminess of some villains that are evil for evil's sake, and they're just like balls to the wall, like, I'm evil, and like cackling and stuff, like Skeletor
Kicks
or
puppy.
something.
Yeah.
But man, like some of the other stuff though, I enjoy like a villain that's kind of like for the greater good. Like, I'm doing this, you don't understand it, but this will make things better, but it's like a horrible thing. Like I'm trying to think of or like, you know, I was just thinking of the other thing. It was like practicality reasons of like, oh no, raising the dead isn't a bad idea, just have them work or something in the fields.
Yeah.
But they're like, that's evil.
Is it though?
Is it though?
Yeah.
They're just corpses. What are they doing? They're just in the ground.
Now they're contributing members of society.
Exactly. But then people were like, they're abominations. You're like, oh, don't worry about it.
Not a problem until they unionize.
Yeah. That's why you need your local lich to come in and keep things straight.
Oh my God. Lich is a strike breaker. Jesus.
Oh, man, of course.
Pinkerton's coming in.
It comes in with a wand of control and dead. Just no.
Or works way too good.
Oh man.
So I've only GM'd like pre-written adventures, so like the villains that I have the privilege of playing are like super well written, have incredible motivation. The only villain that I personally have created was there was this boar that had plagued the party, and he became sentient through magic.
As one does.
And got super jacked, and then he just challenged the party to a showdown at the end of the adventure. It was so just a bad guy.
Just a bad guy.
That boar murdered a level 1 character playing his first ever tabletop RPG.
No!
Yeah.
Yep, that's how he
Tell
became
the story.
sentient.
Tell the story.
Tell the story. Okay.
It's too good.
Okay. All right. So, I had a friend from my restaurant days, and he was just like the chillest, super coolest guy. And I like casually mentioned that I play TTRPGs, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that sounds kind of fun. Like I'd like to do that." And like when people like say that, and they're like, "Yeah, like you're too cool to do something like that, like whatever." And then I ran into him a couple years later, like randomly, and I kind of mentioned that I was still doing that thing. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Like I was actually really interested in that." I'm like, "Oh, okay." In my head, I'm like, I have to start a game now. Like I have to GM again. So I got him, all set up with a character. We were doing this this little adventure by Paizo called Plague Stone, and we just he had this like little druid, and he was so excited. And then they're trying to help out this farmer, and this boar is chasing the farmer, and it's supposed to be kind of comedic. Like you're just supposed to like either the farmer gets gored by the boar and runs off, or you engage the boar. You maybe like hit it like one time, the boar runs off because it's scared, because it's just a wild animal. Well, this druid was like, I'm a druid, like I can like entreaty with animals, and I was like, yeah, definitely, like like I think there's like this thing in the rules where it's like an animal will give you time to like make your case with it through like your nature. So I was like, yeah, roll in nature. And he rolled nature, and he didn't do great. He got like a middling roll, like a 10 or 11. And I'm like, yeah, the boar like really doesn't like really care. He's just really wants to get this farmer for whatever reason. And then like next like turn around, he's like, all right, I want to try again. I'm like, okay. And he rolls a nat 1.
Oh no.
And I'm like, yeah. And I was like looking at the rules about entreating with animals, and like if you fail like that bad, they become hostile towards you. So this boar just like stops dead in his tracks, and like giving the evil eye to this guy, he charges, and this boar has an ability called like boar charge or something, where he gets like a bonus to his attack if he moves more than like a certain number of feet. And he critically hit this poor guy, nat 20. I roll max damage, and because of massive damage rules, he dies outright, just like where he stands. This is like session 2.
Oh no.
And
Yeah, it was like
not
we
a
were
player in
level
this
1.
game.
I think he had like 13 hit points, and it's like the boar's attack was like a 1d8 plus like 3, and then the boar's charge like thing was like if it moves like 30 feet on a charge, it gets like 2d6 extra damage or something.
yeah.
And yeah, he rolled a natural 20. It all doubled, and it was like exactly 26 damage, and it killed it outright.
They killed him outright, and it was so tragic. And this guy was just like, I was like, what do I do? And I'm like, well, you have to make a new character. And he's like, it took me a really long time to make that character. And I'm like,
That's when you just add
if,
junior to the name and start back up again.
I'm like, if Jerry had a brother who showed up, or a cousin or something, then that'd be totally fine. And then sure enough, like up rolls Gary the druid.
I was not a part of this game, but I actually watched the game over the internet because I was interested to see Tim's DMing.
Yeah.
And that happened, and I just sent him a message on Discord, like, you just gunned that man down in the prime of his youth.
I remember hearing about it. I remember hearing about it later, and they were like, "Yeah, Tim killed a character, like the session 1 or 2, whatever." And I was like, "Why is Tim being mean?" And they're like, "It was all dice rolls. There was nothing we could do about it."
Supposed to be Timmy? No, he wouldn't kill a character.
Timmy Copelt killed a character session 1.
Played in
But
game.
don't worry.
The worst monsters Paizo could even think of, but the coldest, most savage moment I've ever witnessed was a goddamn boar.
That boar was a hell of an end boss.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And guess what? Gary is alive to this day. He
Good job, Gary.
I know. He got himself a little animal companion. It's a fiery leopard. His name is Hot Boy. And now they're in the circus, so...
He's
all's
an
well that
NPC
ends
in our new
well.
campaign.
Classic.
Yeah, back to the original question. So I think I'm kind of in Tim's boat that I've mostly just played villains for adventures that have been pre-written. But I'm actually kind of a little bit of opposite end of the spectrum on preferred villains. I like the villains that are so chaotic you don't know why they're doing what they're doing. Like, you know, I think about like the Joker in The Dark Knight. Like, like some men just like to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
I feel like they can get boring, and it's probably a lot harder to write that kind of villain for them to be good. But I really like the villain that just can't be figured out.
So you're not for the villain who likes to watch the world burn. So you like the villain who just brings the marshmallows.
Yeah, sure. I guess that's a good way of putting it.
That's a really good way to put it.
It's my favorite way I've ever heard to describe that.
I'll be using that next time. Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's like, it sounds wholesome, but there's a lot of murder involved.
Right?
But there's marshmallows.
But there's marshmallows.
And corpses, marshmallows. Corpses, marshmallows.
I'm certainly that I'm the kind of GM that when even with like the pre-written stuff, I'll change stuff all the time. Sorry, Paizo. But like in my home games, it sort of depends on the group. I run a 5e game where we play in the Grim Hollow setting, and that's all about like it's a mixture of like sort of grimdark Dark Souls stuff with like almost like monster hunting like in The Witcher. So that stuff can be very easy to do. Giant monster just wants to kill people, extremely easy to do. But I also like when it comes to developing really good villains. I like to take it in a bunch of different ways. But one of my favorite ones is like if you have a lich. And he's, you know, a lich is 500 years old or something like that. And then you find out that he was a lich because, you know, he felt helpless as a child. And so he found, he found power in, like, raising the undead or something. And it's like, but that's not the right way to do that. So I like developing villains like that, where it's like, I understand your point, but you're still wrong.
It's like that meme, like, you became a lich for power. I became a lich so I could live as long as my elf wife.
Yeah.
We're not the same person.
Yes.
It's like one of my favorite villains from like recent media was Silco from Arcane. I don't know if they've watched that, but he's such a beautifully written villain, and he's like, in the beginning, he's portrayed as the monster. But in the end, you see all his reasons for doing everything, and you go, you know, if I was not only a man in his social situation, but also a father, it's like, I might do the same thing, you know?
Yep.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to add? No? All right. Okay, so Zeal Zaddy had a question, and his question is, have you ever quit playing in a stream or a game because you and the DM's style didn't mesh? How did you and them handle it?
I don't think I ever have done anything like that.
No.
I always
Same
make
here.
it a point to try to be on the same page as the people I'm playing with, the DMs and players. So that's never happened to me, thankfully.
Yeah. But most of the groups that I play with, we sort of have a general theme or a style of play that we like to keep around the table, and so I try to match that, or in the games that I run, I try to like present that to to whatever group I'm running. I've heard tons of horror stories of like really awful GMs or like that player or that guy at the table. Like I've heard of those things all the time. I've been blessed to never experience that. So whenever
That's
I hear
nice.
them, whenever I hear that, I'm just like, who are these people that people meet? I've just never really encountered them.
Yeah, we're all definitely lucky, especially because like all of our playing origins basically originated from Jake. We're all already very close, and our primary games are all kind of with each other for the most part, or some group of us that already have a good rapport. But I mean, Timmy sees a lot of them, but I follow them all too. But like, on Twitter, we just hear constant stories of people who like don't have access to a lot of players in their area that they already kind of know, and they're finding groups online, which is great. It's awesome that we have the ability to find groups online and players who are interested. But I sympathize with the kind of the crapshoot that can end up being if you're kind of starting up a game virtually with kind of just strangers that you feel like you have a good connection with, and then they kind of end up being not who you thought they were. And we see those kinds of stories all the time of people who end up in these groups, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh well, the GM's kind of a racist, and or they're really sexist, or they're very moving when people express discomfort. So yeah, I mean, I totally with Jake there that we're really lucky that we have our really tight group, and we haven't had to experience too much of that. But I mean, my heart breaks for people who are like, I really want to play this game, but I just don't know if I can stay at this table any longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
The closest thing to that I would have was one of my closest friends, friend of the podcast, Lucas, DM'd a game, and he had some people come in. They were good guys, but they were some things were said at the table that we just didn't like. It made everyone uncomfortable. So you just have to sit down and say, "Listen, we're not about that. You don't do that here." So that's the closest I've gotten to that. And then that particular person did fix the behavior, and they were perfectly fine after that. That's the closest I've got to a situation like that.
I think the fact that you were able to have a conversation about it and they were willing to take that feedback is huge. Like, it says a lot about the group as a whole, and about like your dynamic together, but just who you guys are as people too. I think that's really important.
Yeah, you just have to be honest with people. Just be honest. And don't be mean. Don't be bitter about your opinion. Just, this is why this isn't okay, man. Just be honest.
Yeah.
Something Timmy made a really good point to kind of forge his DMing style that I always appreciate was he goes to great pains to individually understand like the challenge level or what each player at his table wants to get out of the game, and he'll ask you if the situation presents itself, do you want me to kill your character, or would you rather stay, are you attached to your character, do you want them to live, and me try to help preserve that, because I mean a lot of people want different things out of the game. Like my wife doesn't like her character's dying gives her great anxiety, but me, I love when my characters die. It's like, kill me all day. And I think that's an underrated aspect of player comfort, is like, what do you want out of this game? Because like, yeah, the dice can kill you, but I mean, this is ultimately where everybody wants to have fun. If you want a little help from the DM to try to change the flavor of the story so that you don't just immediately die when the dice don't fall your way, I think that's an important thing to get, and then that can extend to a lot of things in like what you want in the game, from role playing to just general style. And I've always admired Timmy for establishing that as his style early on.
Well, I have to say that my origins for that line of thinking is literally all the TTRPG community. Being like kind of at the helm of the Dragon Punch Pod Twitter. Like I see conversations all the time about like, hey, like this is a way to run the table, or like, hey, like having a session 0 to talk about what you want out of the game is like critical for it to like understand how how to communicate, like what to expect from each other, what things aren't okay, like are there topics that are off limits. Like I literally did not know about any of those things until I started getting into the community. So, like, you admire that from me, Kill, but that's all the community. So, shout out to you, viewer, for teaching me how to be a better GM. So,
I don't
Yeah.
think that take anything away from you because you took the advice of people who knew the right information.
You were resourceful, Timmy.
Yes.
there you go.
Good job,
chameleon.
Tim.
It's a gold
In-
star.
In the in the charity streams that we've done, there was one that Jason from What Do You Do Pods, he ran
Oh,
one,
yeah.
and one of the things that he had used is that it was a Google survey sheet that you fill out anonymously, and it talks about the things that like you're uncomfortable with, if you have like phobias of stuff, if you don't like talking about this or that, and and what you want out of it. Now this is just a one shot for like a it was either charity or it might have been PlasmaCon at the time. But anytime that they do something like that, though, filling that out is so incredibly important when you work with people from all over the world that are into TTRPGs to be able to come forward and say, here are some things that people were uncomfortable with. So we're going to change the narrative of this encounter to this thing, and to be able to like see where exactly people want a game to go is so incredibly important. And all the people that we've interacted with have been extremely welcoming in trying to include everyone, just being extremely inclusive in what everyone wants in a game and how they want to play it. So again, like Timmy said, the whole TTRPG community that like we're a part of on Twitter is just amazing for that. Like we're always just like, whatever you want, we'll put it in the game.
Luna, what is your cat's name?
Molly.
She looks so adorable.
Yep, she just got some treats. She came up, Apache1222 in chat redeemed some cat treats for her, and now she has left. And she got her treats, and now she's happy. She's taken off. So yeah,
The night was
Scratch
worth it.
behind her little ear.
yeah.
How many treats has she gotten in a night? Like,
I don't know. I reached in and grabbed like a bunch. They're pretty tiny, so.
Okay, yeah.
But the redemption's available 3 times a night because I have 2 cats. So.
Oh, okay.
So usually what I'll do is Molly usually will get the first one because she's the first one to come in. The second one I'll try to give to Daisy, who's our other cat, and does not come on camera at all. It's like she knows that there's a camera. Wow. And then if we get a third one, I try to split it between the 2 of them. So
Cute.
yeah. But this is actually a really great place for us to pause and take a break. So we are going to do that. If we haven't answered your question yet, we will get to it in the second half. Please just go ahead and drop those right in the chat. We do have an ad during the break for a Kickstarter, so check that out if you get a chance. If not, you can always go back and catch it in the VOD or on YouTube too. Pat Duck just goes, we're pausing, PAWSING. But and on that note, we'll see you after the break.
From Unlikely Heroes Studios, Damien Poitier and Hannibal Taboo, The Sundering, The Nation Beneath Our Feet, is a 5th edition campaign setting with new encounters, subclasses, races, and one of the most inclusive populations ever. From the hair shop edges to LGBTQIA+ NPCs in prominent positions, everyone has a place in the Zwari Nation. For 350 years, the nation had known peace. 6 months ago, flaming blades, thousands of feet high, fell on the borders, shearing the nation off the side of the continent and its entire world. The nation faces a new planet, a new set of circumstances, and no way back.
All right, we are back. Hope you guys all had a good break. I know we did. We were showing off cats and looking at games and trying to kill a bug. It was great. All right, so we do have some questions from chat. However, this is one that I had warned you guys was coming because I received one from Scorch Scotch, who was not able to be here tonight, and that is the 60-second villain monologue. So if you would like to do one, I am going to play the one from that I received yesterday. I think I sent it yesterday. And so I'm going to play that so chat can hear it. And then if anybody else would like to do a 60-second villain monologue, by all means, you are more than welcome. So I'm going to play that now. Hit the play button.
Well, Jed sent one because he's easily the one who will have the best of all of us.
Yeah.
You thought that my 6-year-old daughter's back-to-school night would stay my hand upon this tavern filled with tales? I'm sure you're wondering how I did it. Could it have been that I stole the powers of the condenser beast known as the Blue Yeti? Or studied the secrets of the mage known only as Audacity? Yes, I have gained power over space and time to bring you the most meta evil monologue in the history of evil monologues! I could even be in the chat right now, waiting for my final act to deliver this final message. Follow the Dragon Punch Squad podcast at twitch.tv/Dragon Punch Squad podcast, on Twitter at Dragon Punch Squad pod, and Instagram at Dragon Punch.
That was great. So there you go. That was the one that I received. If anybody else would like to try their hand at a 60-second villain monologue, by all means, now is the time to do it.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can only play it on my end, so it'll be on the stream. But
You had to unmute. Man, John, you had to think on your feet. You had to unmute the Twitch. Mute yourself.
It's all right. I will.
I'm definitely in.
I will.
okay.
I know.
Should be
Curses
meta.
again. We're back to that.
Just know that Jed didn't disappoint like he never does.
We'll bother him for the recording. Don't you worry.
It's always perfection. Yeah.
When we kicked out the one person for the 5 people, we were like, who's the most handsome, best writing son of a bitch? You can't show us all up like that.
That was it. That was it right there.
Well, I don't feel any pressure because I too didn't hear it because I didn't want to psych myself out because I know Jed's incredible. So I would like to go next only because I know that Jake is going to blow our socks off too.
Yeah. We'll give it a try, but yeah, I know that too.
All right. So, it seems you all have finally discovered my plan. You know, when you all first arrived in town, I thought you were mere inconveniences to my greater plot. But my henchmen, well, they couldn't dispatch you like I wanted. In fact, they proved to be liabilities themselves. But you took care of them for me. So thank you. I don't have to worry about that awful hard anymore. Anyways, I bet you're wondering why I'm doing all this. You might think me a cold killer. In fact, you probably already know that I'm, in fact, stalling you while the real threat is approaching the town. Well, you're right. You see, long ago, they cast me out. They treated me as other. They killed my mother. They blamed whatever curse they had put upon themselves on her, and it wasn't her fault. So I am just giving them what they deserve. You are mere passerbys. You could leave. You could turn around and forget this place ever existed and leave them to me. Leave them to the fate that they deserved, that my mother did not. So, what will it be? Will you choose death? Will you die along with them? Roll for initiative.
Give it ended.
That was good.
I've got one.
All right.
Okay. I think a necromancer working with demons. The mortal sheep have come to despise the wolf they hate. You hate me because I work with the demons of the abyss, as you call out the names of your gods, but you don't know that they are the same thing. The demons of the abyss, the devils of hell, they want your body, they want your soul, they want everything you are. And you bow down to these gods and think they are better? The gods want your love, but they want your body, and they want your soul. But for some reason, because the gods wear their divine don't call it what it is, gluttony. I the fool, or are you?
Wow.
Good.
That was good.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to play?
I will be going last, so if Kelly and Mark have one, they should go down.
You stand back, you son of a bitch.
I'll do one. This is going to be completely off the cuff and to no one in particular. I tire of the filth of this land. Tire of the blood, sweat, and tears that I sacrificed to keep this world going. Tired of the ungrateful. Tired of those who just will not listen to reason. And now I've come to the conclusion that I have no other choice. But to you, underlings of my land, I am now sworn to withhold your fish sticks until this land is cleaned of its filth, and I do not step on another Lego or another toy or hear another rattling, clanking, beeping, buzzing monitor ever again. You will not eat until this land has been wiped clean of your filth, and there's nothing you can do to stop me with your little arms.
Some rad dad energy right there.
Right?
He's being a dad on the side while also being in the interview at the exact same time.
Right? I know.
I spend a lot of time convincing my children to clean up this room.
Oh my gosh. That is too good.
All right. Mark, do you want to do it or no?
Ah, man, I can't think of exactly one right off the bat right now. So,
That's fine.
Pressure, man.
I mean, because like I have, I'm like, but man, I'm gonna start like skipping my words over because it's started getting to that point at the night.
Yep.
All right, I'm dying for Jake, so let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so for dramatic effect, hold on.
Oh.
Here you thought you could spend all your days searching for me and my work. But no, the deep ones have blessed me. While you were crawling around, babes in diapers, I was changing things behind the scenes, making everything fit exactly as the plan that I had. Every chaos beast, every aboleth, pales in comparison to the work that I have done. The great old ones will thank me when I am finally finished. And I assure you, your tiny mortal lives will be puny little peons compared to the things that I'm going to be doing. For you see, I am immortal. I will rule every realm you see in the sky. I will control every soul from ant to god, because it is my destiny to do so. Run now, and you will be spared, or become the dirt and ash that I walk upon, to my victory in the sky.
Well, there you go. That was great.
Oh my gosh.
I especially like
Love
the chair turn at the very beginning.
Yeah, I feel like every villain has to have that.
It's good.
Real Bond movie-esque.
Yes.
Yeah. If there's not a little bit of bomb villain in your villain, it's not living out its full potential.
Are you even a villain then? I mean,
Right.
Oh my gosh, Jake! I feel like you have to talk about the big bad evil guy from 2 nights ago from the
Oh,
from the end of Sticky Biz.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so the entire series, Timmy had been playing a Shuni ranger who was like a fisherman. He was like an angler, and he had been talking about the entire time of the Goont, this like legendary creature that had like preyed upon his people, and was just a menace and a danger, and in the Riverlands and stuff on the Mwangi.
And for a little context, a Shuni is Pathfinder 2 ancestry, where they're dog people, kind of like pugs. So they just got the little scrunchy faces.
They're
adorable.
They're adorable pugs, but he was like this badass ranger, like fisherman. And so it was started out as like a legend thing, and we made one joke about like how he fell into a trap or something. I don't remember what it was, but we joked about how he would end up in the lair of the Goonch, and we said he was like a Bond villain where the Goonch is like a big catfish, and so I joked that he had a catfish, like a cat that he was petting, like a Bond villain or like Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. And I made that come true exactly as it was. And as funny as it was, he had quips against all of them. He was such a good roast master. He was like connected to each of the PCs in like some way. And he did in fact have a catfish cat on his lap that he was sort of petting in his lair as they walked in. And so like they couldn't take it seriously until they found out that it was a reskinned or reflavored Naga. And it started casting black tentacles and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, this is an actual villain." Like, yes, this is dangerous.
Oops.
And then all we did was roll like 70th percentile damage on you all night and murder him.
Yeah,
That was a lot of fucking damage.
It was unreal.
I may have increased the HP and then said, you know what, they might have brought it to 0, but I'm going to go for the dramatic ending.
How could you kill me? That was great.
All right. Okay, let's dive back into some of the questions that we got from chat. So this one came from Jason, and Jason would like to know if your character could be any kind of lycanthrope, like a were anything, what would it be?
This question's too easy. Where otter?
What type of otter, though? Are you talking river otter or like the basic little small ones?
River otter, definitely.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what Adelar would want, or Timmy would.
What Timmy would want.
Okay.
I feel like Adelar would want to be like a were eagle or something.
As majestic as can be, of course. Yeah.
Well, if we're talking the DPS, Benson would probably go for something like a were bull.
Okay.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
Probably, I'd say Elk would probably go for, not an eagle, but a vulture of sorts.
Yeah, of course.
Vulture.
How horrifying that would be.
Kendrick just wants to be a dragon.
Yeah, can I be a were dragon? Or does that have to be
Right?
I'm thinking.
There was no condition put on it. It says wear anything.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine an ancient red were dragon.
Oh man.
That'd be cool.
It's just a hawk.
Right.
That's just a dragon god.
I think. Honestly, my favorite animal is a badger, and I feel like that'd be great because nobody's gonna mess with you.
It's true.
If you become aware of badgers, they'll just be like,
Well,
just leave it alone.
that depends. Like, what kind of badger? Because, like, if you're like the English version, you might just look like they want to invite you over for tea or something.
That's fine too. I'm just saying.
Benefits.
Right. Both for different reasons.
I actually had a character that did in a game managed to become a werewolf. That was fun.
Cool.
Having to hide that from the party.
Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
Me and Jake are involved in a 5e game that we play on the side just for fun. And my wife has become recently a were-rat.
Oh, classic.
Yep.
And it's caused a lot of gosh darn effing problems.
Yeah. Well, it was funny when my character became a werewolf, they were like, let's see if we can make something obvious to the party that something about you has changed. So we changed the color of my character's eyes. But nobody picked up on the fact that was weird.
That's the most annoying thing when you're playing a character and you introduce like a change or like story stuff and just nobody pays attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fine. I didn't like you anyway.
Right. But it wasn't significant. I didn't put a lot of thought into this, like this hint that I'm giving out. It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
Forgot what it was. Well, Jake, I mean, most of my games were with you. Was there a time once when we had a campaign and you made my character, like, I got infected by a were-rat, like, in the first encounter, and it, like, kind of ruined my character?
Yes.
I remember, like, I'm trying to remember what that character was, but I remember, like, I got infected by a were-rat and, like, failed my save, and then, like, my character wasn't fun anymore, and it really sucked. I don't remember the exact circumstances around it.
That was back in 3.5. You these were-rats had captured you, and then when you like woke up, they heard you, and you didn't realize they were were-rats. But you were a catfolk rogue, and then
Yes, I'm a cat folk.
yeah.
That's why it was so bad.
Oh, no.
and I was just like, make a fortitude save, and you failed. I was like, you're gonna be a were-rat, buddy, and you were just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I was a cat folk. And I had were-rat curse on me, and it was like, this sucks.
Everything about this is anathema to me.
Oh my gosh.
3.5. That was a day ago.
Good times, good times.
There are a lot of cats that are like lactose intolerant. So imagine coming off your little were-rat bender and you just wake up with a tummy ache.
Oh.
Night of cheese.
My were-rat form is just a real dick, and he's just like, you're gonna feel this in the morning. Just like breaks into a creamery.
And just yes, I am an omnivore, and I will eat anything I can get my mouth on.
And I break the glass of the nearest Baskin Robbins.
I'll just hang out at the dumpster and eat whatever comes along. That'll be great for me.
You can't make it worse.
As long as I can fit my head into anything, I can get in.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, let's see. So Apache1222 sent me a question directly because he also happens to be one of my moderators. And so he would like to know about the best Nat 20 and or the worst Nat 1 you've had on your podcast.
Well, that's pretty easy for me because in the inaugural episode 1, all the characters were introduced, everything, and Tim and Kelly's character talked a massive amount of shit.
Yeah.
The town guard, who was also a paladin. Oh, you're not gonna. There's some weird stuff happening in town, and you're not taking care of it. Well, maybe they should send some, real fighters to go take care of it. So then we were in a town hall meeting, and things happen. And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who might come watch the show because it's awesome. Just know that Benson handled shit in one particular role.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that Paizo wrote, like, here's how this encounter's supposed to go. If this happens, this happens. If this happens, do this instead. They did not write, however. What happens if it's handled within 6 seconds? And I went, oh. All right, yeah.
Okay, good job.
Yeah, you did it.
You did the thing. Congratulations.
I'm gonna go with a natural one because it wasn't too recent, and it was so incredibly disastrous for the encounter on my end. There was something where the caster ended up rolling a natural one, and the crit card that we pulled. Timmy rolled a natural 20, and it was a spell crit. And what it did was that it made the caster that he was attacking stun 2. So he had 2 less actions on his turn. And it was so bad because it went against the caster, and just about every spell in 2E is 2 actions. And so this caster had 1 action per turn to do anything. And I was like,
any significant spell is two actions.
Yeah.
So.
So I was like, You took everything the caster could do away. I was like, he was supposed to be a badass with all these cool spells, and it was supposed to be terrifying, and he was just like, boop. No spells for you.
That reminds me of my favorite. I can't think of a crit. I mean, Jake obviously remembered one that I did, but I can't think of a crit that I did that was my favorite. But my favorite crit fail with hilarious results was we were going against this ooze that was like a live kind of like sap, so it was like a gelatinous cube type thing, but it was just made out of like sap. And I wanted to do a knowledge on it to try to get more information, and I crit failed my knowledge. And Jake was like, you have to give like bogus information about the monster if you crit fail. And Jake was like, yeah, it's made of sugar, so you can just dissolve it with water. And my character had on his person a wand of water, which is basically just a damp stick that leaks water. So here I am, middle of combat. Yeah, it's just a basic create water spell. Meanwhile, everyone's like combating this thing, trying not to get sucked alive, and my character is like, haha, I know how to solve this. And I spend like 3 turns trying to defeat this thing by just like with the garden hose.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
No. And then after the combat, Mark's character Elkwood took my wand of water and chucked it into the forest.
Find it.
And by golly, I found it.
During that 3-turn thing, like me and Kelly's character were like inside fighting for our lives.
Yeah.
And our cleric was just like shoving a stick into it.
Guys, this will help. I promise. Just give it a second.
This one, so one I had, I don't think it was necessarily a natural 20, but it was definitely an epic fail. A little spoiler, but it wasn't that like consequential. We walked into a room, and we all walked into a gelatinous cube that was sitting still because all of us failed our perception check to like just see this giant gelatinous cube, and we all got stuck in it. Mm-hmm. It was just like really embarrassing that nobody could beat like the not even that hard of a DC.
Yeah.
And we just walked to this room, and Jake was like, "All right, well, you're all engulfed."
Yeah.
Roll for initiative.
Roll for initiative. We need to know suffocating rules now. All right. This went from let's go explore this place too. Everyone is in real danger right now.
One that didn't happen on our podcast, but I have to mention it because it was amazing. It happened on a side game with Tim runs for us. But there was we're running Extinction Curse, which is a Pathfinder module for where your whole party runs a circus and are saving the world from a side, like a kind of like a side adventure. But your circus character's first, and you have to run a circus all the time. And there was these rival circus members that were trying to crash our show, and so but we were onto their plan. So we had one of our like NPC side characters help a caster, and then we had 2 characters go to the other side, intercept the other group. Well, the caster, who was brand new to the party, it was a new PC who came in, cast manipulate rope or whatever. So it was a spell that just like tied them up with a rope, and he rolled a natural 20 on his athletics check to attack him with this rope, and so we drew a spell critical card, and it was the target has to roll a fortitude save or be transported to another plane. And they failed, and they disappeared. And this was just supposed to be like a non-combative, like low-key, stop the people from ruining the show encounter, and they banished them to the shadow plane.
Stop stealing my circus jokes. Plane of
Yeah, it was amazing. And the NPC barbarian character that was with him was just like totally freaked out and like didn't know how to react to this brand new person who made someone completely disappear.
the way. The person playing the PC that cast that spell was my brother, and literally at like, late at night, I don't remember what time you guys played. He just texted me. He was like, "Dude, I just did something fucked up."
I mean, he's a magician. He made someone disappear.
Right.
Aha.
Hey, where'd that guy go?
I gotta bring him back. Man. I can't really say some of this stuff, but like honestly, the worst ones were the crit fails. Because Pathfinder 2nd Edition, as long as you're 10 below, that's crit fail. So I would have thrown this for that, but it resulted in some character deaths on my part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, I roll middling every so often. But every time it's a death throw, I rolled a natural 3. And I'm like, oh, he's permanently dead. Great.
Oops.
And, yeah, then later on...
Oh, no.
Yeah, then later on, it was like the same thing. You're like, alright, I just have to pass the saving throw. Natty 3. I'm like, oh my god. That's why I threw away my dice tower, because I was using a dice tower for those. And
Right.
I was rolling garbage.
I
with
didn't
it.
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I
first one
remember
was
your
the dice
dice tower.
Yeah, the dice tower.
Wow.
I mean, it's there. It's brushed by something, I think, right now. But yeah, I was like, natural 3. Okay, this won't happen again, I'm sure. Natural 3. I'm like, okay, that was the worst thing I could do. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, those are the worst. Like, some of the crits are like awesome, but you're like, cool, all right, it's over. But when you're a marshal, it's not the worst thing in the world. Oh, yeah. See, I'm trying not to go into spoilers, but the one funny one that we had with Jake describing it was cutting off our opponent's hands, and we kept cutting off their hands, and he just kept picking up another one.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a mass mob of them, and they're like, oh. Well, they're disarmed now. Let's pick up the arm.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Benson got another crit, and it was just, come on. I think Jake got very exasperated with that one.
It was okay. I think I remember this now. So there was a crit fail where he dropped his weapon, and then the critical hit which cut off one of his hands, and then another critical hit which cut off the fingers of the hand that he still had. So this one enemy pretty much had like 2 or 3 fingers on one hand, still trying to attack with like a hatchet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember this now. Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, and I was like, just kill him. He's suffering.
He's trying
Yeah,
so
at this
hard.
point, you're rolling to attack. Just like, I just feel bad.
Right.
So I think at a point you're like, he can't even technically hold these, so he's hitting
Right.
it with his nub. He's just,
Oh my gosh.
You can't do anything.
Oh no.
please stop, he's already dead.
All right. Did everyone get a chance to answer that? All right. So this is actually a question that I came across on Twitter and I liked it. So I figured I will ask it. This is the question is, common mini games at taverns are a great way to get your players interested in doing something other than move from A to B and talk to C over and over again. What are some of your best downtime activities?
Well, I have a character in my home game, the circus one, and he's a bit of a klepto in the fact that he steals fine art, and so it's like kind of like a mini game where he does like little like heist things where he just like breaks into a place, tries not to trip up whatever magical or like animal alarm system is going on, and I just feel it's just so fun. Like there was like one time where like he's like broke into like the mayor's house or whatever, and there was like I think a dog that he had to like I don't know, give some food to or something, and then he snuck past, and then he looked in the one place and nothing was there. Then he had to like be real still because the person woke up or something. And it's just, I feel like those have been like some of my favorite kind of like in between things. The other one is another one of my characters is because it's like circus themed. He has I think it's called like the Card of Wonderment, and it's basically just like a rigged casino game where like he just plays a card game and people bet, and most of the time they lose. But the card is like it has like a bunch of treasure on it, and if you were to like break through like the spell save, you'd realize it's just a bunch of crap that's just like magically looks really nice. So you just like rolling for that to see if they win against the house is fun. But yeah, those are the two fun little mini games. I mean, honestly, like when you're playing a circus thing, there's just so much inspiration for like little mini games. Like you could do dart throwing or like bottle toss or stuff like that. So, man, it's just sometimes the setting just kind of gives it to you on a golden platter.
Oh yeah. I so in the 5e game that John and I play in, I play a Dampire rogue, and so every now and then he gets a little thirsty, and so whenever this Dampire rogue happens to disappear, I'm always like messaging our DM on the side of like what I'm doing, and like there's like stealth checks on the side and stuff like that, and so. The character he'll start acting kind of feral or something like that. He'll start acting out of character and he'll disappear for a while, go feed, and then come back and he's acting all normal again. And then the players know what's going on, but for a while the characters did not. And so when they found out, they were like, "Is that where you disappear to?" Like, yeah, I just I break into a hotel, find someone that's dead asleep, and help myself.
Stuff happens.
We don't talk about it.
Also in our 5e game, I play a wizard in that game, and I made it a point to pick up a chess set very early on.
Oh,
and
nice.
One of the things he just like talks to people as he plays chess with them, and our DM was kind of getting sick of me trashing everyone because, oh, it's an intelligence check against a wizard. So he was like, okay, you're playing against, it was Belksire, who was a paladin, and he was like, give me a charisma check to see if you can intimidate this particular wizard into making the wrong play. So whenever any character plays, like if it's a rogue, he's like, make a sleight of hand check to see if you can fiddle the pieces in your favor. So it's every character has a chance to win, and it's turned into this like interesting little dance that my character has with other people. And I have to give him credit, Mitch, our DM in 5e. He really hit the nail on the head with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of our favorite things to play chess with each other in D&D.
Yeah.
And this actually happened. Oh God, actually before in high school, actually. That sorry, Jake. The first I didn't officially. It wasn't D&D. I don't think it was actually. It was a role-playing game. I cannot remember the name of it that I was playing with. It was one of those off like. This is like as I said, I'm blanking so bad on it. But all I remember is that the campaign wasn't going anywhere for one. Like it was pretty much my friend was like, "Hey, you want to try playing this?" Well, like sure. But the rules were super complex, we didn't know what the hell to do. But like the way he was kind of doing the tavern scene was like, oh, and you play dice, and this was when Pirates of the Caribbean came out, and so we were like playing Pirates dice, and so that was like that would be the mini game. But then we just said, you know what, this is more fun. Let's just keep playing this. We abandoned the whole thing together.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a fun game. Dice games are fun, but
Oh yeah.
it was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's just keep playing this. This is fun.
Yeah, why
Pass the
not?
time.
I remember they they made some deal with some game maker and came out with the game and they called it Never Trust a Pirate.
That's great.
Yeah, I played that game so much, and you bet your bottom, whenever I called Never Trust a Pirate, I did it in the voice.
As is tradition.
As is tradition.
Indeed. Okay, so I'm not actually part of the podcast, obviously, but I think this wasn't a great natural one that I rolled. This was in a game. It was a Pathfinder First Edition game. We were also playing Rise of the Rune Lords, and we were in like some, I don't remember, house, whatever, warehouse, something like that. Anyway, we're in the middle of a fight with the enemy that was in the building, and he went to attack and rolled a 1. So the DM, he would use critical fumble tables and critical hit tables. So he rolled a d20, and we all knew, like, on this table, we were like, oh my god, please roll a, whatever it was, like an 11 or something like that. Please roll an 11. He rolls an 11. The guy punches himself in the groin and renders himself stunned for 4 rounds.
Oh my god.
We were like, peace out.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would render me useless for 4 rounds.
Oh
Four
yeah.
rounds.
So then it was funny because to seriously play into that, the GM, tried to do a really high pitched voice for the, the next 4 rounds.
Oh my gosh. Stop them.
Yeah, it was hysterical. We laughed about that for a long time. All right.
Best moments when everyone at the table is just laughing their asses off and can't even get a sentence out.
I think that's like, I mean, I think that's better than anything.
Oh yeah.
We call it killing the GM or killing the player.
Yes,
oh,
yeah.
we killed
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
they're dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It happens. It happens
when
way
Jake's-
too often for me.
Yeah.
When Jake's face turns into a tomato and he just starts. He's trying to laugh, but he can't, and it's just we're all watching.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are plenty of times that I try to get a joke out, but I'm already laughing at it before the punchline is made.
Yeah.
So I have to try to tell it through laughter. It's impossible. It's impossible to do. But if we can get me or Timmy to be full red face with tears in our eyes, it's been a good session.
There you go.
I put a notch on my bedpost every time I do it.
Very specific notches you got.
You're probably running out of room.
Oh yeah, I'm out.
I was gonna say, yeah, you must be.
That's funny. Gum just said storytelling and collaborative humor are top tier tabletop things, and yes, I 100% agree. I think that is very true.
Yes.
All right. Well,
This separates us from the video games.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're not wrong. All right. I think at this point we're going to give everyone a chance to go around again and just remind us of who you are, if you're on social media, where we can find you on social media, anything that you'd like to share about anything coming up that you have going on or anything like that. And also, tell us what flavor a gelatinous cube is.
Oh,
So we're going to go in the reverse order of when we started. So, Timmy, we're going to start with you this time.
All right, Tim, figure it out.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the. Okay, I'm Timmy, Adelar Vaynor, Dragon Punch Squad podcast. Catch me on Twitter at Dragon Punch Pod. I do the memes, I do the questions. Interact with me. I'm nice. It's a great time. What flavor is gelatinous cube? I'm gonna say that a gelatinous cube, in the spirit of my character's Nat 1 on that ooze in the jungle, a gelatinous cube tastes like maple syrup. Just a lot of tree
Oh.
sap.
Oh,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Okay.
Too much. It's too much.
Well, I am John, DPS podcast. I'm not really on social media. I'm trying to build up the courage to start streaming gameplay for the podcast, but I'm Benson Black. I think a gelatinous cube tastes like Bacardi.
Oh.
Oh, snap.
Okay, all right.
Interesting.
I can see that. I can see that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, it's funny. I think that's the first time anybody has mentioned like a beverage of some kind for a flavor.
Yeah. I was like, what? It's gonna burn.
Yeah.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
So it's
Wow.
just a jellified version of Bacardi 151.
Oh no.
At that point, it can catch on fire.
You get engulfed, and then you're just really happy for a second, and then there's like a moment where you don't remember anything, and then there's just massive regret.
Like a night of Bacardi 151.
Yeah. All right. Mark.
So I'm Mark. I voice Elkwood Grimm, and I'm with Dragon Punch Squad. I do not have social media, really. But let's see here. Gelatinous Cube. With pictures usually always detailing it green, I would have to say Skittles Green Apple would probably be it.
Well, that would make death a little more delightable.
It would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it's Green Apple was the better one, I think, than lime, right?
I don't know.
everyone
I'm
does.
going to say lime was the better one, but
I feel like green apple is like one of the weakest candy flavors.
Well, I feel like you're full of shit.
Here's the thing. I don't eat.
This is where we fight. This is where we fight.
Yeah.
This is where Kelly disagrees with everybody.
Right. Right.
Give me 20 minutes.
right.
I'm going to drive over, and me and Kelly are going to have it out right in front of his computer.
Right, the party.
Every child leaves green apple for last.
Really?
It's just
I always thought
instinctive.
of
It's
that.
Wow.
See, from me, but I can't really eat I don't eat candy that much. Green apple is perfectly fine for me, so I'm accepting that.
spoken like someone who doesn't eat candy a lot.
That is very true.
Spoken like a healthy person, loser.
Trying to be healthy, all right?
I want my candy to taste like fruit.
makes you feel a little bit better about eating it at least, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just-
My candy needs to taste like pure cane sugar.
I want my teeth to rot out as soon as I take a bite.
All right, so I'm next. So I am Jake. I'm the GM and CEO of the Dragon Punch Squad podcast. You can find me on Twitter at WookieSmash. We also stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dragon Punch Squad podcast. We've been playing through The Witcher 3, so if you want to watch me do that, come watch that. I've had plenty of time to think about this now. I think the gelatinous cubes taste like menthol.
Oh,
Oh, that's painful.
That is
Oh, yeah.
painful.
I
Yeah.
don't like that.
Better than green apple.
Wow.
For you.
See, you see
Wow.
this guy is he calls himself the hero, and then he says shit like that.
Only one with any sense. I'm the only one who's able to make the bold decisions here.
Oh,
Big truth, the power.
The hard truths.
But bold does not mean correct, by the way.
Right.
All right. And last but not least, Kelly.
Yep, Kelly, McDragon Masher on Twitter. Follow me, talk to me all things football or Pathfinder. Very much divided down the middle on my Twitter usage between those two things, especially this time of year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So, my immediate thought for Gelatinous Cube flavor was pina colada.
Oh.
Or getting
Yep.
caught in the rain.
Yep, my first thought was coconut, and I was like, you know what? I think there should be something a little citrusy involved too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coconut, a little lime, and then you know what? Throw some of that Bacardi in there.
Man, just like
Come
everyone's
in
like,
with
yeah,
a gelatinous cube, throw some Bacardi, some coconut, and you get
So it's disgusting. Got it.
That's why wizards keep these things around, because it's a mixed drink right there.
right.
well, that thing. That's my Saturday night.
Scoop out of it, boil it down, and there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, my gelatinous cube is a little more fun, a little more. You're gonna have a nice time on the beach. It's not like John's just straight Bacardi, just gonna ruin your night.
I'm not like other gelatinous cubes.
John's gelatinous cube will dissolve you quickly.
Yes.
Hey, my gelatinous cube has a mission. He follows that mission.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming on tonight. This has been a lot of fun to get to have you all on and to chat TTRPG. I appreciate you all for hanging out this Sunday night. I am Gamer Mom Luna. This has been Tales from the Tavern. We're here almost every Sunday night, but we are taking next week off because of Labor Day weekend, and I would like to enjoy a long weekend. So I'm going to do that. And we'll be back the week after. We got some more really awesome guests lined up in the queue. I'm really, really excited about some of the episodes we have coming up. So, without further ado, I am going to start a raid. We're going to head over to Staghorn's channel. They are still currently playing Weave Racers for charity. Hold on. I want to see if there's an update on the amount that they have raised at this point. I don't see an update in the Discord channel, but that's okay. So we're going to head over there, and if you feel so inclined, feel free to donate. Otherwise, please enjoy the shenanigans that I am sure are happening over there. They've got a really fun group of people playing a little tiny game called Weave Racers. It's basically a racing TTRPG. Think Mario Kart, but not, because Nintendo and licensing. So have a great evening, everybody, and we will see you all again in just a couple weeks. Take care.
Bye.